Hey there, everyone. What's going on? I'm Darieth Chisholm. Welcome to Hustle and Heart TV. I am wearing this beautiful little bracelet that was created in 45 minutes by this guy, Boxy. Boxy is the baby and brainchild of my next guest, Joel Johnson, who, along with his brother, created Boxy really as a 3-in-1 solution for innovators. They are makers, a part of this growing maker movement here in the United States. We're at Tech Shop in Pittsburgh, and I sit down with Joel to talk about Boxy, innovation, creativity, design, and the maker movement. His story and so much more ahead for you on this episode of Hustle and Heart TV. Like so many entrepreneurs, I'm drawn to the glamorous, gorgeous, larger-than-life, iconic ideas and outcomes that represent success. I'm amazed at just what it takes to truly be a standout, a rock star, a millionaire, a trendsetter. It ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. So why not you? I know it takes hard work and hustle to make things happen, but I also believe it's a matter of heart. We can manifest our greatest desires with a little less sweat equity and a little more divine guidance, plus be equally inspired by someone else's life story. I'm Darieth Chisholm. I'm here to help you unleash, unlock, and bloom your dreams in business and in life. I'm a speaker, author, entrepreneur, life and business coach, media personality, and video podcast host. Every week, my team and I uncover dynamic, authentic, heartfelt conversations to help you leverage tools and resources, make more money, live the lifestyle of your dreams, become a rock star, and love your journey. Joel Johnson on Hustle and Heart TV. Thanks so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Great, great. We are inside of the welding studio at Tech Shop here in Pittsburgh in front of Boxy, which is this creative 3D printer, although it does a lot of other things. And before we talk about the creativity around this, as co-creator of this, Joel, how do you go from a major in psychology and philosophy to developing this?
Well, so when I was in psychology and philosophy, I was writing a lot, and I loved writing, but it was missing something. When you look at like a philosophy text or you write a paper, in order to kind of see the brilliance of it, you have to engage it deeply. You have to read for hours. You have to analyze it. But when you look at Boxy, a product like Boxy, you can kind of see its power immediately. You've created something objective, and I really, really wanted to create something objective. My little brother, Justin, he's a talented engineer. So he had some ideas, and so I entered dialogue with him, and we started coming up with different ideas and a whole bunch of ideas. And then we settled on doing something that was desktop CNC, because we love the idea of Tech Shop, and Tech Shop equipped normal people with advanced capacities that you'd only normally find in manufacturing spaces and among wealthier people who have the power to spend the money to spend lots of money on their own personal shops. So it drove us in the idea of putting a lot of capacity into a single unit, and the philosophy kind of drove us to that. We had a philosophy of education and a philosophy of like what makes you flourish. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my thought.
That's okay, because and that's what we're talking about, just the thought behind this. And let's talk in a little more detail about what Boxy is and what it does. And then let's transit back to this conversation of how do you take a degree like psychology and philosophy to taking it into the science and technology and innovation areas.
Okay.
So Boxy, it does 3 things.
Yeah, it does 3 things. So when we set out to build Boxy, we wanted to do 3 things very well at the start. We're gonna scale to a whole bunch of different things. But there are 3 capacities that most makers require, and that is additive, subtractive, and embossing engraving. So we equipped Boxy with all of those powers. And you have your additive, which is 3D printing, and then you have your subtractive, which is CNC milling, and your laser does engraving and embossing. What this equips you to do is, for 3D printing, you just build from nothing. That's additive. And with CNC milling, you take like a block of something, a block of aluminum, let's say, and you shape it to whatever shape you want. You just build it in your program, and then you run it through the machine, and it carves it out for you for the CNC milling. And the laser engraving, you just take like an image file. So if you had a picture of your relatives, let's say, and you wanted to engrave your cell phone case, you would just upload the file, you would orient your cell phone case, and you would engrave that image into the back of your cell phone
Wow,
case.
so it's literally taking whatever programming you have in the software computer, and then the arm is essentially drawing out or carving out or doing
Yeah.
the work that needs to be done.
The CNC works the same across any device, really. You have, you're navigating one point, the effector, across space, up and down, right and left. And 3D printing uses that kind of drawing, CNC milling uses that kind of thing, and laser uses the same thing.
So let's bring some people up to speed, because if you're not aware of what's happening right now in the space of 3D printing, literally tons, thousands of things are being developed
Yes.
from 3D printers, and it amazes me just the technology and how that's coming to pass. I'll tell you that right now what's going on here is you set up for it to create a bracelet.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what it's crafting. When we're done, we're going to see
It's
a finished
called
product.
the Stretchlet on
Okay.
Thingiverse.
Okay, all right, great. But literally anything from, I mean, I've seen it create prosthetic legs, I mean, a variety of different things that are actually coming out of this 3D printing and imaging.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. So a lot of the things that were they were reserved for doctors and engineers, like prosthetics. Now people are developing based on their own needs at home, and they're sharing them across the web, where you can download it for free, and you can make your own prosthesis just by hitting print. It's beautiful.
Thus the need to create something like this that's smaller and priced so that most people who want it could have their own boxing in their home.
Yeah, because it democratizes design. You get rapid iterations of different kinds of technology that normal people are moving through. They get to design products that are useful for other people, and they have the power to do it without expending a lot of money. So if you're just working a normal middle-class job, you can do the work that you normally have to be a designer at a major firm to be able to do. And you're doing it for yourself. It's your own design. It's your own build. You're building it yourself. It's layered with your personal meaning, and it's at the kind of quality that you can use. You can sell it if you wanted to, or you can share it with people in need, like people who need different prosthetics.
And anyone who's moving through the maker space and literally designing, innovating, creating things that would normally need to come to a tech shop or something of this caliber can have their own boxy at home to create their end result.
Yeah, because tech shops are wonderful and innovative. Maker spaces are beautiful, but they are constrained to a location, and only certain cities can really afford to have these kind of spaces. But with a product like Boxy, you can put a tech shop into somebody's home. It's not constrained by the same location.
And you're able to put them in classrooms as well, because children are
Oh.
learning about the ability to create and design on software and then have it spit out through a Boxy. So to have this available in classrooms across the country
Oh yeah.
has got to be significant.
So schools are, I should say, educational institutions and educators in general are a major focus for us, because we kind of started with an idea behind education being a lifelong process that leads to human flourishing. We are committed to giving educators creative capacity for their children, because they get to embody mathematical concepts. They get to embody their own inspiration. They're not just seeing concepts like when you go into your math book and you're learning about curves and you're learning about lines and you're learning about shapes. It's kind of meaningless. It's just kind of almost a word game. But when you get to see it embodied in a product that you create, that's durable in your memory. And we love that idea. So we actually consider ourselves an education company because our main focus is educators.
And so does that drive you back to perhaps the point that we started with, which is taking that bridge or creating the bridge from philosophy and psychology into the tech space?
Yeah, everything that you create is about people, right? If you strip people out of the equation, nothing means anything. When you create a robot, it's for a human purpose. If you're just making a cup, right, that's human purpose. Everything is about human purpose. And I guess philosophy kind of equips me with a need to find higher purpose. And Boxy and the maker movement, they are fledgling and they're purposive. They have gravity. It's humans developing greater capacities to do great things and to do it anywhere and, well, do anything, any shape, any kind of material. You can do art, you can have your own small business where you can build to demand. Those are beautiful things. They're equipping people for lifelong learning. They're not going from school where they're just learning concepts that have no meaning for them. They're building knowledge around their own inspirations, and then eventually, hopefully, they're building their own businesses around their personal meaning in a way that people will buy. That philosophy equips me to think about very well. Human meaning at every level of our company, that is where that philosophy comes in.
And it spills over to a mindset that most people in the makerspace are certainly familiar with, including the President of the United States. I mean, and he's made it a mission to get the maker movement really known and verbalized, and to have Boxy as part of that, I think, is pretty incredible. But the money that it took to get this started, and a successful Kickstarter campaign. We want to take a look at that and what it took to get it under wraps as we learn more about Boxy and this business of being a maker in the maker space when we come back.
Have you considered how podcasting and video podcasting can help you build your brand, influence, and income? Thousands of podcasters are enjoying the wonderful benefits of being able to closely connect with their audience, find their ideal clients and customers. And if that's what you'd like to do, I'd love to help. Schedule a free discovery call with me, and I can help walk you through the process of developing your own podcast show. If combining videos is what you're looking to do, fantastic. We'll have a great time doing that as well. You can simply go out to podcastingandyou.com to access my calendar and schedule a free complimentary discovery session with me. You can also give me a phone call at 305-320-8143, and we'll talk about all of the ways that podcasting and video podcasting can help you in business and building your brand.
Are you looking for a career that pays great money, working with a fun group of people? I know, sounds too good to be true, right? Hi, I'm Troy Miles of the Miles Group.
We will train you, help you get your license, even supply leads. No cold calling.
I've been here 2 years and earned 6 figures this year.
I love my job.
I love the freedom and being my own boss.
If you would like to work among friends, have a great time, and make good money, call us.
Find out more at tmilesgroup.com.
Hello, I'm Edgar Snyder, Edgar Snyder and Associates, and remember what I always say, there's no fee unless we get money for you, and you have to watch Hustle and Heart TV with Darieth Chisholm because she is very good.
President Obama has made it an initiative with his administration to focus heavily on the maker movement through education, through working with schools and individuals, and most recently you were invited to the White House to be a part of a maker fair there.
That was beautiful. We were invited. We didn't actually go to the Maker Fair itself. I mean, we did, but we were invited to the event that Obama threw inside the White House, which was a whole bunch of innovators and people from the World Bank. There was Bernie from the Made Right Here project. She was speaking about the future of how makers integrate into manufacturing. It was a beautiful event.
I bet it was, and it perhaps sealed, or at least helped you to make concrete this mission of yours to bring the makers movement alive.
It did. It legitimized it in a lot of ways. The current administration, they are really focused on creating a nation of innovators, which is something that I think we have lost in great part because we've been focused on the wrong things, kind of a factory style of education, diminished opportunities as it comes to the kind of tools you can afford, the kind of mentorships that you can have. There's not a lot available that may have been available in eras past where innovation was very high in America.
And we're in a new paradigm. I mean, gone are the days of the major manufacturers anyway. And so innovators have sought to create a way where people, even in smaller, more collaborative efforts can create more products and services at lesser costs, but with increased demand.
Yeah, so this is one of the really beautiful parts of this movement is that big corporations have a place, right? They're really good at producing goods that are made for everyone and no one in particular. However, they can't reach into individual communities' meaning and build products for individual need or cultural need, anything that is customized for a specific subset of people or an individual, right? So that leaves a huge area for makers to come in and create products that are individualized. There's a huge market that is relatively untapped, where they can customize products, they can build products from the ground up that big companies wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because they're just not lucrative. But not lucrative for a big company is a living for a normal person. So yeah, it's beautiful because we're getting there where the legitimacy of the small company is becoming more present.
Not to mention the cost of being able to produce a single item and or multiple ones, but you don't get into the overall cost of having a variety of tools in place, and then even the materials cost, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean, so if this were just a little while ago, you'd have to buy all the tools yourself, right? Which is out of reach for most people. You would have to buy all the materials. There would be, it's not tenable for the average person on the average income. But now, for what it would cost you to get a health club membership, you could get access to all the tools and build the product you want, right? And now with access to things like Boxy, you can do that in your home. But the cost of materials has also gone down. Materials are very accessible over the net to anyone. So the fusion of all these events is making...
How much is a Boxy?
So a Boxy is about $3,500 for all three powers.
Okay. And again, for anyone who's maybe missed the first three, I mean, this is more than just a printer. It obviously encompasses a variety of two other tools that are easily changed for moving this out. So now for $3,500, you've got the capacity and the use of three different operations.
Yeah, so Boxy is essentially, it's a CNC platform, so it's a computer-controlled arm that moves around, right? And you have what I'll call three machines on the outside, right? They're just little cylinders, and one's a laser, one's that cutting mill that cuts 3D shapes, and the other one is the 3D printer. And you insert the 3D printer in, or you insert the CNC mill in, or you insert the laser, and it creates whatever they have the capacity to create.
Which makes it very easy. And you were talking earlier about obviously having the opportunity to come into a space like Tech Shop, which is where we are here in Pittsburgh, and have access to a variety of different tools. And you pay a monthly price. I think it's what, $100 or something. So it's
130.
Yeah, it's relatively affordable to access a space like Tech Shop with your ideas and innovation, and then get the support of others, but then use the multitude of different tools that are available. By the way, it's loud in here because we are in a working tech shop, so clearly there are things going on. But what you've created is the opportunity for when people are done with whatever it is they're creating, is to have their own Boxy in their own space, whether it's at home or their small office, to be able to do that. But it didn't come out of your pocket, I don't think.
Well, yes, it did. So we're developing a couple different products. Boxy is one of them, but it cost us $125,000 to get to Kickstarter.
Okay, great. So, by the way, they started a very successful Kickstarter program,
Yes.
$125,000 just to seed the pre-operation
to
having a successful Kickstarter, one that yielded $1.2 million.
Yeah.
How did that go?
So, it was exciting to watch. I mean, so actually, originally we predicted about $1.2 million because we had an idea for the kind of marketing we do. We knew what kind of product we were going to have. We knew that it would resonate. So we actually predicted 1.2 in advance. So that was really cool to see that our intuition was correct.
And had you had that as the reach goal?
So our goals were much higher than what we assumed we were going to get. Our goals were much higher.
Big, right?
3 million, 4 million, we were hoping for high, but we had different benchmarks that we wanted to reach, and we set goals with everybody in our team, and we made sure that we had plans for each benchmark.
Wow.
It was a beautiful process.
But to get to the 1.2 million clearly took $125,000.
Yeah, that's that was not from an already built product to the Kickstarter. That was from having no product at all and taking a year and a half, 2 people, and developing from zero idea to Boxy. And then that's the Kickstarter, about a year and a half.
What was some of the wins? Let's start with the challenges. Some of the challenges along the way. I mean, I hear great stories about Kickstarters, but I also hear lots of horror stories and challenges.
So I guess the biggest challenge is you have timing and money issues, right? So when Justin and I came into the scene, we were out of the time frame of most incubators in this area. So we weren't able to join them. We couldn't bring in more revenue. We were constantly struggling for money because we didn't have that $125,000 up front. We had to keep grasping at it and finding money. That was a real struggle because there were several points where we almost had to go get jobs and stop working on Boxy, which would have been a real point of abortion. It would have set us back and maybe taken us out of the time scale that would have made Boxy relevant. We needed to be first for Boxy to be successful. So that was.
Are there other innovators in your space now that are coming to market with a similar product?
So there are people who are doing something similar. So the one thing I think they fail at over and over, and they're creating toys. There are some companies that are doing separate machines very well, but multi-machines are not serious machines yet.
So you knew enough to keep yourself on the mission because A, you didn't want the competition to get out there and beat you, but B, you had a dream that was big and you just weren't ready to give up on it, yet you knew you needed to pay the bills.
No, honestly.
How did you do that?
Well, I think Justin and I, we've lived a really hard life. So it gave us a lot of pain tolerance and perseverance. And I think if you need anything as an entrepreneur, especially one with grand vision, you have to be really hardy, very pain tolerant, and you have to just keep moving forward.
Tell me about that. You said you lived a rough life.
Well, so we moved 40 times before I was 14. And we fluctuated between wealth and poverty. So we were so poor at times we had to eat roadkill. So Justin and I used to hunt bugs as kids, and we would eat insects and snakes because we were hungry. So Justin likes to tell the story that we fought over whether we were going to get chili or ramen noodles to eat for that day. And so those times, those bonded Justin and I as a team, but they made us very resilient because that trend, until we were able to get out of under other people's control, we were constantly having to overcome. And you weren't building, you were just surviving. And after surviving for so long, you develop the capacity to achieve, I think.
That is very interesting. I know what it's like personally. I moved 15 times before the age of 14, so it does toughen you.
It does.
It creates a level of thickness on one's skin that allows you to face whatever's coming.
Yeah, you do have like an undercoat. Like you still feel pain pretty sharply, but after you're cut so deep, it doesn't touch you anymore.
Yeah, and clearly that has led you to surviving some of the tougher times in business. And you said that you faced a time where you thought you were going to go get jobs. At what point did you say, that's it, I don't care what happens, we're going to go back to our roots and remember what it was like being kids and press through? And then what was the breaking point? When did it give way?
I don't think it was a choice. I mean, so I personally feel constantly like I'm leaning forward all the time and I have to keep moving my legs in order to just keep from toppling over. So we didn't really make a choice. We knew that we were at some point going to have to make the decision, but we just kept running harder so we wouldn't have to make the decision.
Running harder and staying focused, especially in the lean times, that is such a poignant point for many entrepreneurs. I want to talk a little bit more about that, but we want to invite you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can continue to watch episodes like this with informative, incredible guests. You can also go out to hustleandhearttv.com and leave your email and name, and we'll be sure to add you to the database so that you can receive emails with Hustle and Heart TV. So we'll have that when we come back.
I want to give a huge thank you to all of our sponsors and advertisers for Hustle and Heart TV. Thank you so much for supporting the show. It means so very much. And I'd also like to extend an invitation to you if you've got a product or service that you'd like to put in front of our amazing audience. Simply request a media kit to look at the varying sponsor opportunities that we have for the show by sending me an email at info@dariethchisholm.com. That's info@dariethchisholm.com. I'll be sure to email you a media kit, schedule a time to talk about ways that we can position your product or service in front of our amazing audience. When it comes to food, family, and tradition, Atria's is your dining destination. Atria's has a passion for food, and it all starts with our culinary trained chefs. From the made-from-scratch rubs and dressings to the best in the bird crab cakes, Atria's prides itself in serving honest and real food. Come and see what makes us different at one of our 8 locations. We're now offering private dining, to-go, and full-service catering. Atria's, we're always changing courses.
Hello, I'm Dr. Vonda Wright. I'm an orthopedic surgeon and the medical director of the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. And you're watching Hustle and Heart TV with Darieth Chisholm.
So Joel, before we broke, for the break, we were talking a little bit about leaning in and moving forward and in spite of whatever you're facing, whatever those challenges are, and especially when it becomes tough and you almost have to give up on your dream. That is precisely the time not to.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I would say with the caveat that you've got an obsessive focus on your customer, right? So who are you reaching out to? What is your business? Who are you, what need are you serving, right? So if you're perseverant and you don't know the prize is just ahead of you, you can't see the prize, then you should probably take time to step back and reevaluate, right? And the prize is essentially that you have a product that it speaks to a customer, and it doesn't speak to a customer when they have it in their hands, they are able to have a great experience with it. If you've got both of those things, that moment where the form of your creation speaks to a group, when they look at it, they can read its language, and that language speaks directly to their heart and to their brain. They're able to find a utility for it, or they're able to find some sort of personal meaning from it. And then you have isolated that they are when they receive it, they're going to have a great experience with it. That it's going to have spoken the truth, and it will prolong their experience with the machine. It'll feed back into the community, so people start talking about it. If you've got that, you've got the form language that speaks, and you've got the experience when it's in their hands, then you should keep that perseverance and you should move hard forward.
Very good knowledge around this, because when I think about the end result for any person, whether it's someone watching this or someone who's going to purchase a Voxy, we're always thinking about solutions, but that process from having them understand the language, as you said, and then their experience, and then ultimately what is the end solution for them, is a great path to think about when you are facing challenges, because it keeps you in the fold and staying focused on whatever your mission is or your dream is.
Yeah, so one of the beautiful things about being in a team with my brother is that we can switch back and forth between concern for human meaning and solutions that are very objective, right? It's hard to stay in that headspace all the time, or have both in your headspace at the same time. So being able to switch back and forth between two people, having a solid partnership, that is very useful.
Well, and you all make a good team. I mean, he's got clearly the engineering, the innovation, the techie side of it, and you bring the philosophy, the psychology around it. This melding is what's created this company.
We get a beautiful fusion of meaning and material, and social and mechanical. And we both, to varying degrees, I'm a maker and a philosopher, Justin's a maker and philosopher, and we both are different levels of the same thing, and at different times, different levels.
Did you also see that creating Voxy would be the end solution for lots of people. So when you knew you had to take a product to market and have it be as creative and all the things that you said, the reality is your timing is such that so many people are going to need a Boxy. That's brilliant in terms of the business side of that. Is that where you were, or were you just driven to create something, that was different?
So we always had in our mind that we need both novelty to attract and a solution to keep people engaged and to actually serve a need, right? But we started with a need. We had no idea what we were going to create at first. We started in a basement. We had a contracting company, and we were talking about how the contracting company wasn't fulfilling our needs. And we got into this huge discussion about education and this idea that we thought we invented called the makerspace. Obviously, we didn't. And
but you were onto something.
No, we were onto something. But it was a kind of a zeitgeist. There was a cultural wave that we were plugging into, and we saw a movement of equipping people with human capacity, with capacity to do greater things, to create themselves more fully, with greater sophistication, because people are mirrored in the things that they create. They get to see themselves in what they create. They see a history. It's more than an object. They see their memories fed back to them. It's like an image of the good times, right? And they get a lot of their self-image from that. So we were thinking about that in regards to education, and we were thinking about that move towards greater capacities for greater human meaning and better education that moves towards human flourishing as opposed to just creating cogs. And that's where we started. How do we best serve that? And Boxy was grown out of that.
Wow, well that was from idea in a basement to obviously branding and building a Boxy.
Yep.
And what a
year and a half.
Year and a half. Wow, that's great. And for all of the people who are in the space, in the maker space right now, with ideas, maybe they're still in their basement, maybe they haven't found a tech shop, what would you encourage them to do?
So, I mean, if you've got an idea, I would encourage you to develop it as far as you can, right, where you feel like you've got a good product, and then edit that idea according to a need of some group, right? So it's a lot like writing. At first you just open your vein, and then because you're writing for yourself, you're just purging all your meaning and your emotion into whatever you're creating. And then you do a lot of editing, and you edit for your customer. You edit for the person who's going to use your object.
You think exclusively about your avatar, your niche person, or area.
In the editing phase.
In the editing phase, okay.
Yeah, you start with your inspiration, and then let it see where that serves the community. I think a lot of people say that you should start with the community and then innovate, but that's not, I don't think, how the human mind works. You start with what you're interested in, and then you see that it's actually a solution for some community.
Move through the editing phase, and then what would be the additional suggestions?
So the editing phase, after the editing phase, that's where you're starting to launch. And I would say that you need to build a team. There's only so much bandwidth a person has, and there's only so much dispositional talent that a person has, and you need people to fill your gaps, both in bandwidth and skill. So if you're not a people person, find a people person you can trust, and trust them to take a role of dealing with people. And then if you are a people person, or you're a little mechanical and a people person, you should search out a team of people who can do what you already do, but better. And you should find people who fill the technical gaps that you have, fill the social gaps that you have. I wouldn't try doing all your social media. I wouldn't try doing all your coding and mechanical design and everything you have to do. Find people, align with them. The best bit of advice I can say is that everything in business is about aligning your needs with somebody else. When they have something that you need, finding something that you have that they need, and forming a team. And that goes for building your actual team to work on your product, and in finding more corporate level partnerships. If you keep doing that, the momentum alone from creating those partnerships will keep you leveling up.
Yeah. Well, Well, you're a solid testament to that, because clearly the growth that's happened over the last year and a half has been the result of just what you suggested. Boxy will be available, pre-orders right now.
They will.
They can head out to your website and
Boxy.com.
Boxy.com, be able to get their own Boxy if they need it, and or I would assume though for schools or places that are going to need multiple Boxies.
Oh yeah.
You'll be happy to fill those orders.
Oh yeah, we have for schools. We'll have special packages. We'll come in and we'll train the teachers and we'll train the students, and we'll have plans so that the teachers can most effectively use the machines to help the students learn.
And I'm not going to let you go until I get to ask this question, and that is, I'm sure there's something else on the horizon for you, because your brain just seems so brilliant that while you're still trying to get this, there's another idea that's been planted.
Yeah, so Boxy is the first iteration in our goal to enhance human capacity in creative capacity and creation capacity. So we've got some other stuff I can't really talk about, but we found that there are needs to be filled in the maker community, and just in the regular household, people who don't know yet that these capacities to build are out there. We've got some grand visions for them too.
Great. And the name Boxy? Clearly it's a box.
Boxy, the box idea, it's like our catchphrase, think inside the box, right? XZY, the XYZ coordinate planes.
Oh, great. Fantastic, great. Well, we had hoped that the bracelet was going to be finished before.
It is essentially finished.
It is essentially? Wow. Well, we'll be sure to share a couple of pictures so that you can actually see the final version of the bracelet that Boxy has been busy printing for us. And as we said, Joel, thank you so much for being on the show. If
it was
you
a pleasure.
want more information about Joel and his brother and the company, you can check the show notes page. Simply go out to hustleandhearttv.com and you can search either Boxy or Joel Johnson, and we'll have additional information for you there. Joel, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
That was beautiful.
The award-winning Savoy restaurant has become synonymous with fine dining, upscale ambiance, and a great destination for local and national celebrities to enjoy the night in style. The Savoy has won multiple Savor Pittsburgh awards for its delicious menu. Our wine list was awarded Wine Spectator's 2012 Award of Excellence, and the Savoy has also won the American Institute of Architects People's Choice Award for its beautiful architecture and design. For dinner reservations and more info, log on to savoypgh.com.